Okay, so this street is called Rua de Coimbra, and we're in Taipa. Coimbra is named after a city in Portugal, and as you might know, Macau used to be Portuguese. So we're going to be filming this whole area and walking all the way down to Central Park. So and we're just kind of, we just got some big news. I'm also going to try to tie in some current events as well. So as of today, September 1, 41 nationalities are allowed to come into Macau now. There's still like 180 countries in the world, so still 140 are banned. I'll tell you about those that are banned as well as the ones that are able to come in. It's pretty big news because for the last 2.5 years since COVID began, foreigners have been banned from coming into Macau. Even ones with work visas, and even business owners, if they're a foreigner, if they're not a Chinese person, they don't have Macau residency, they've been unable to return to Macau. So after 2.5 years, on September 1st, it's kind of a big deal. So anyways, we're going to be talking about that while we walk down Rua de Coimbra. Okay, Macau 2022, filming the city street by street. Let's check it all out. Chiquinha, chiquinha, toma cuidado da movidinha, chiquinha. Okay, so here's Rua de Coimbra. Before we go down, I'm just going to kind of highlight, this is called Rua de Olímpica, and there's Olympic Stadium not too far away. And actually this is the other direction, but I just want to kind of pinpoint this. All of this right here is going to be turned into like a firecrackers tourism factory kind of thing. There's the sign. There's Galaxy over there, some casinos, big casino, Galaxy. I got to film over there again sometime soon because there's a lot of changes there, including that big giant gold building is just newly constructed within the last 6 months or so. There's Venetian over that way, and Morpheus. So anyways, let's go into our focus here. I'm also going to just kind of get into the shade a little bit, but Flower City is over there, which is a garden, but the shade will probably be better for the footage. So I'm going to talk about the big change that just is occurring today. So as many people ask on the channel, they always ask about you know, when are foreigners going to be allowed to come back into Macau, and they've been banned. Even blue card holders, which means that they have like work visas, they've been unable to hire a foreigner that's non-Chinese to come into Macau to work any kind of job, including casinos, teaching, education, domestic helpers, restaurant workers, anything and everything. They've all been banned for the last 2.5 years. So I got some pretty good news for 41 nationalities. Before I tell you the 41, I will tell you some bad news first, because I know some of the people most interested in it are a lot of people who live, this is called Flower City. There's like turtles and kiosks and all kinds of kind of cool stuff. Skating to the left, it's a park. Can't get in because of the COVID restrictions. But that's where that's at. We're gonna be walking all the way down that direction in a minute. Let's just kind of go in here real quick. This is a popular shopping area. So the bad news is for almost, I know there's a friend of mine, he's from South Africa. So he teaches, he's in education, and of course, I don't know if he has residency or not, but basically nobody from an African country is allowed to come into Macau. So that ban continues as it has for the last 2.5 years. I'll just kind of show you what some of this stuff is. This one you can buy really cheap clothing from, I guess it comes from mainland China, but it'd be like as low as 40 mop is about $5 American. So you can buy shirts, clothing for about $5. Real estate agency. The real estate prices are all going down significantly. You can get like 3-bedroom apartments for $1,000, which is pretty incredible. It wasn't like that just a little while ago. It wasn't like that at all. Would have been at least probably $2,000. 1,000 would have got you like a studio. 1,000 American dollars, about 8,000 mop. This is like a new place, nut and milk tea. You didn't see this before. So this is a little shopping mall. It's our focus is going to be the street, so that's 24 hours at San Mui supermarket. Let's go back onto the street a little bit. So yeah, some of the countries. So yeah, nobody of Africa. So if you're South African, you still can't come in, unfortunately. Almost like another big one that I know a lot of people work here are coming from Philippines and Indonesia. So a lot of them work in restaurants, customer service, casinos, security guards, cleaning services, domestic helpers, and a lot of them have just been staying here for the last 2.5 years non-stop without unable to see family. Because you can, if you're in Macau and you're working, you can stay here and continue working, but the moment you leave Macau, you're banned from coming back. So there's a lot of Filipinos who have families and Indonesians who have families that they want to see. It's only 2 hours away, but the government won't allow them to go home and see their family and come back. Once they leave, they're banned from coming back until the rules change. So that's pretty bad news that they're not included. But I would say that it's good news for them because at least it's a start. You know, like 41 countries are able to come in now, where before it was only Chinese, and Portugal as well was able to come in. So there's only 2 countries that were allowed to come in, and also Hong Kong as well. Sorry, but anybody that's of Chinese ethnicity can come in. So that's pretty big news. Another groups that cannot come in are, I believe that Vietnamese is another one. Vietnamese are kind of similar to Filipino and Indonesian. There's a lot of Vietnamese that live and work here. They work in restaurants, different capacities, and they're also unable to come into Macau, and if they live here already, they can't go visit family and come back. They would be banned from coming back, unfortunately. And also the other big one that people ask me about are people from South Asia, which include India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal. So all of them are the same situation, where they're also unable to come back to Macau if they work here, or if they live abroad and they want to come back. Maybe they were here for years, or whatever, families or whatever, all the unfortunate situations, they're also unable to come back as well. Okay, so we're in Rua de Coimbra. My apologies, I didn't really focus too much on the street. Usually my goal is to kind of highlight the street. You can see some of these ones on this side. There's the Paris store. I feel a little bit bad, I didn't focus so much on it. So let's just go across and we'll focus a little bit on the streets on the other side, in case you're looking at the side of the other one. So this is called Rua de Coimbra. And we're going to keep on walking down that way, but this is our focus here, right here. And we are going to look at this little street. Wow, coffee. Then you got this Paris French store as well. So this one is kind of a cool store. They basically got all these French goods in here. So like there's a lot of Portuguese wines everywhere in Macau, but there's also a lot of French wines, which will be a segue to the next part. If you're French or any European, pretty much all the European countries can come in, and pretty much all the Anglo countries, which include Australia, New Zealand, United States, UK, everybody except South Africa is also kind of considered in that realm, I think. Kind of Anglo, a little bit mixed maybe, but they're unable to come in. But all the other Anglo countries can come in, and all the European countries can come in. This is looks like an interesting restaurant. We're not going to go all the way down. There's a nice Japanese fish place there. There's Manning's, which is a department store, pharmacy. But we're going to keep on going down. I want to show you more of Rua de Coimbra. So basically, I believe, I can't remember the list. I'm going to put, if you're watching the YouTube, which you probably are, I would have been putting a list down with all the different countries. You can comment about it and tell me if your country's on the list or not. But it's pretty big news that at least there's a start, and they did definitely focus on the rich, wealthy countries. So I can check the list later, but I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive Singapore would be on the list no matter what, and then probably Japan and South Korea would be as well. I think Taiwan was always able to come in because of the Chinese background, I believe, unless there was an issue with political issues involved. I don't know, we'll maybe I'll put all the list up so I'm walking and talking where I can't actually see at the moment. Let me see. Kind of got to go over to that building later. It's a government building, so I was going to ask him about something. Got to get rid of a computer, old computer. On to other news. The other big thing too is they're actively trying to like for the last 2.5 years, basically foreigners are forgotten. There's not really talk about them at all in any capacity, even though there's like, I think I've said that many times on the channel, there's business owners from foreign countries who own real businesses, of course real estate, stuff like that. None of them have been legally able to come back. Divided families, so there'll be like teachers that are from a Western country and they've been unable to, we're gonna go up this way, they've been unable to be reunited because of the ban on foreigners. So like every example you can imagine, somebody from New Zealand, they got a wife and 2 kids, their wife and kids went out for a holiday, for Christmas or whatever, and actually it's Chinese New Year's when COVID happened and all the restrictions came. So some of the foreign families, they knew COVID was hitting here in Macau, China and Macau. So they're for safety reasons, some of them went out temporarily. Their families did, just to stay safe while all the restrictions were happening here. But then what happened is they got locked out, and then there was a lot of divided families, and there's actually a lot of foreigners too who maybe went out during Chinese New Year, right when everything was kind of happening like that. And they also were not allowed to come back. So there's a lot of foreigners who lost their jobs, lost everything, and not just like every type of foreigner from everywhere, from Europe, Asia, wherever they're from. If they're non-Chinese, they were unable to come back. So so this big news is huge. So this news today of being able to bring of 41 different nationalities be able to come into Macau is huge. So we're hoping that it's going to go down this way. It's kind of here. So this is actually a skyway right here, so people can walk all the way down this particular street. I'm going to go down here. There's more of the skyway. We'll see more of that in a moment as well. And we're just going to walk down it. Yeah, this is called Avenida de Guimarães. This is called a skyway, and you cannot walk down below there. You have to come over the bridge. So we're going to continue down our street Rua de Coimbra, and we'll continue talking about this big news event. So let's kind of take a look at this. So yeah, you can see there's no crosswalks. It's kind of a mess for cars at the moment. Hopefully they fix that later. We're still in Rua de Coimbra. And we're gonna come down this way. So actually, you know, even though it's like, I think a lot of the countries that are from, a lot of the nationalities from countries that are considered more poor are still banned, but at least it's like progress. Like I was very happy when they allowed the Portuguese to come back, even though they should legally be able to come back anyways, because they've been here for like 500-600 years or whatever. But now it's one step closer to having more normality in Macau. So hopefully it continues. So it's still good news for all nationalities, just that it's a step in the right direction. A couple other things too is there's an island called Henching Island, and Henching Island is going to be kind of like a new part of Macau, and that's been also banned for foreigners to go to. But if you're Chinese, you can just go across anytime you want, no problem. So so they just allowed it so that foreigners, as long as they're residents and they live here, or they have work visas here and stuff like that, they'll be able to get that access to go to that Henching. It's another part of Macau in the future. They took out part of Macau. Sorry, Henching is next to Macau, and it's part of mainland China, and they carved out a part of it, like an island part, and they're doing a lot of development. So sometimes when I'm doing the videos, I'll highlight Henching Island. So that's going to actually be available now, so that if you're a foreigner and you're living in Macau, you'll be able to go to that part of the city now. So we haven't been allowed to go in if you're like in my situation, like I live in Macau, but I can't cross that bridge. I'm not allowed. Actually, to be honest, like I could have got a tourist visa that's 150 American dollars, and I could go there I think 2 times. But of course, you know, I want to have the same access as everybody else here and just be able to go in and out. So I probably still have to pay for a visa, but it'll be like a multiple entry Henching visa to be able to go into that part. So actually that's pretty huge news too. I think that's going to apply to all the foreigners that work here, regardless of nationality. I think it just depends on the visa they're on. So so that's actually huge news for foreigners too, because it looked for a while like, you know, we're pretty well forgotten. And then on another front too, they're also they've lost a ton of foreigners. So like if you've heard some of my other videos, you know, I'll talk about that, about like how I just don't see foreigners around anymore. Almost, you know, there's so many of them have lost their everything here. Like they're just, feels like they're trying to get rid of them basically. Most foreigners will say that. And now suddenly, sorry, I haven't been really highlighting on that park so much. I should be. Maybe I'll walk over there in a minute. Kind of want to highlight this IKEA over here too. These are all these apartment buildings, so they call them like Torre 7, Torre, it's like tower. Tower number 7, tower number, I think on this side they're all odd numbers. So like 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. This one is Cafe Eskimo. Always really crowded. This is a popular chain, Cafe Eskimo. Okay, we're gonna end this in a minute. There's also a new Thai restaurant that I saw in the corner. I'll highlight that too. Sorry, usually I try to give you more of a background on the streets, and I'm kind of getting more into the news element. So up above is IKEA, so a lot of people are coming over here now. This mall just opened up about a year and a half ago during COVID, so a lot of foreigners, or anybody who hasn't come to Macau in a while because they aren't able to, haven't seen this place yet. But there's a IKEA right there, and it's a giant mall. It's like actually better than the casinos. Casinos have some kind of malls, but they're a little bit more designed for the tourists. The food isn't, well, the food, they got good food, but. And last thing I'll do right here is just highlight Central Park. So that was our street, Rua de Coimbra. We're in this area called Taipa. I feel like I haven't really given you a good idea of the city. This is called Parque Central de Taipa. Central Park of Taipa. Open until midnight. So anyways, pretty good news in Macau. I think it's going to help a lot for the foreign community, because most of the foreign community is just leaving in droves, and every single weekend I hear of yet another foreigner that's you know, lost their business, lost their livelihood, lost their jobs, you know, lost something huge, most of them has just lost the ability to be able to go visit family in their home country and come back. That was banned for most of that time, right? So even if you want to do a quarantine for 3 months and pay for the hotel, they wouldn't let you do it. It was completely 100% no, you cannot. If you're a foreigner, you're not coming into the city. So that was this is really huge news. I think the future of Macau, I don't know, I kind of feel like all this banning of foreigners and all this kind of restrictions and the lockdown and the kind of death of some businesses that are, some of them quite well known, that finish, you know, I don't know how long it'll take Macau to recover or to come back to what it was just, you know, 2-3 years ago. We still got all the basic stuff and lots of construction and lots of new things, so we'll see how it all goes, but I don't know, there's a lot of questions about it. And they lost so many foreign talents. Wow, it's just unbelievable. Like the casinos, the education especially. Wow. they lost most of the foreign teachers are gone, so the English levels are probably gonna be pretty awful for a while. Plus they're online, so I don't know. It's gonna take a lot of work and a lot of time for them to come back to what it was a few years ago, but we'll see. At least it's a start. At least they're allowing the foreigners that are here to be able to go home and see family and come back, so that's a huge thing. And with that note, we'll just end it right there. Okay, Macau 2022, filming the city street by street. Let's check it all out. Chiquinha, Chiquinha.